have you ever wondered how to make a short film with no experience, no producer, and a bunch of strangers on the internet?
Let me tell you a story.
Well, you can grab your clapperboard and your popcorn and your camera and your dark shades and join me. Buckle up, because I'm about to take you on a wild journey through this chaotic roller coaster journey I went on when making my first short film. Making my first short film started with a message in an online group chat that I joined during lockdown. I was in Northampton at the time, and all I knew was that I wanted to be a filmmaker.
Where do I begin looking?
I simply wanted to tell my stories.
It's December in the legendary year of 2020, and I'm a first generation 26-year-old Ghanaian who has only been in the UK for 3 years at that point. How do I connect with actors and crew members who can help me pull this off? Well, fortunately, because of the Instagram algorithm, I found an account that advertised the exact thing I was looking for, the National Youth Film Academy. When I joined and paid their 3 monthly subscription fee, I was assigned a meeting with my coach. This was the only meeting I had with her, and I'm not even mad because it was the only meeting I needed with her. She had seen some of my stories and suggested that I should get a producer for my film. So after spending my first 3 months mastering the courage, I finally made this post to the group chat in March of 2021. After my first message, I had a flood of comments, mostly from actors who wanted to be a part of this ambitious project I was venturing on. But I had 2 problems. 1, finding an interested producer, and 2, considering my origin, most of my original stories are based on African lore or star black actors. However, none of the interested actors was black. So here comes the distraction. So since I couldn't find an interested producer, I decided to start working with other directors instead. The aim here is that by working with these other experienced directors, I'll gain some production experience. So I assembled a small team of writers, directors. I explained my universe to them and pitched to them that they could all take a different character of mine and create a story with it. It was a good time, a good waste of time.
Why?
Mostly because of one individual who soured the experience for everyone. There's more nuance to this part of the project, and exploring it will digress from the main aim of this video essay. So let's leave it at that. It cost me 5 months of my time, but I didn't get anything substantial done.
Well, thanks for wasting my time.
But on the bright side, I built a close connection with an amazing individual who was a special effects artist, Leon. Leon was actually one of the first people who reached out to me when I posted on the NYFA group in March 2021. And the last couple of months strengthened our working relationship. Leon helped me ground a lot of my imaginations into practical reality, and talking to him kept me going, especially when the wasted 5 months came to an end with little progress.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
So back to the drawing board. What next? I decided to fix what was the easiest to fix: the story. In my second year in the UK, I met a girl on a train in London. Somehow, this memory led me to write a short story about a starving artist who meets a goddess from a painting. Within a couple of weeks, I wrote, rewrote, and rewrote the story till Leon and I were satisfied with it. There was also a song I used to listen to called House of the Holy Maids, and that song also contributed to this story's creation. Even at this stage, the story was too ambitious and would require almost 5 locations to pull it off properly.
How am I supposed to do that?
I really needed a producer to do the heavy lifting for me.
God, I need help.
So I made another post on the NYFA group chat in August 21. I still didn't get any interested producers.
What am I gonna do?
At this point, you can tell I was tired of waiting around, so I was like,
Fine, I'll do it myself.
I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to translate the script into a short film. So I read a lot of online articles, watched several more hours of YouTube videos, and did everything I could to get ready for this task. Around this time, I made a big move in my life. I relocated to London.
I'm going to London.
Primary reason for this is in order to be closer to more actors and film opportunities. When I had settled in well enough, I put out another post in the NYFA group chat in September 2021. Next step, assembling a team. In response to my last post, I was able to assemble a cast purely based on the actors who seemed interested in the production. I didn't care about looks, I didn't care about height, I didn't care about whatever, because my racist black eyes said they're all white, so no one cares. So I landed on a cast of interested individuals. Nathan, who would play the masked man, Liam, who would play the mysterious bodyguard, Gemma, who would play Morgan, the sorceress, Alex, who would play the lead character Ethan, James, who would play the smart-talking six-sibling stereotype, Kyle. I actually asked the actors Gemma, Alex, and James to name their own characters, but I had another problem. Even though there were more actresses who were interested, I needed the last actress to specifically be black. I'll need to figure that out.
Don't worry, I got this.
The crew had Leon to back me up in the special effects department. He was joined by Molly, who was happy to help in the hair and makeup artist department. And next thing I knew, this was shaping up into something. It was actually turning up into something realistic. We had a couple of virtual meetings with the cast and crew to discuss the story, characters, and production. We then had our first online reading, and it was quite a pleasant experience to hear actors reading my work. Like, I wrote that, they're reading my stuff, can you believe it? Through this, I was able to hear how cheesy some of my lines sounded and all the fat that I needed to trim from the story. I took their critiques in tow and I applied it in further rewrites. And this is actually a wonky storyboard that I drew to help visualize the story better. I went on to download an app called Storyboarder, which can help you storyboard ideas much better, and shared some of the videos during our online readings. And the more I saw it, the more I was getting excited because god damn, this was really shaping up into something. I was actually making a short film, but I didn't have a cinematographer or a sound engineer. So considering I was in full DIY mode, I thought to myself that I would do the cinematography myself. I mean, I have an extensive photography knowledge, so pivoting into cinematography shouldn't be too hard.
Right?
Well, I put another post on the NYFA page on 13th October. Since the casting was mostly complete, I didn't get a lot of responses. And also by this time, I had gotten over the cringe title. The previous title I had was Painted by a Goddess. So I changed it to a more solid one, The Painted Goddess. I had 2 sponsors who committed their money to their project, and I can't explain how exhilarating it was to have people agree to give up their own money to my project. I mean, it was like £50 and £100, but then it was still something. People spent their money for me to make my film. Can you believe that? Anyway, this was very useful in many ways than financial, because it boosted my ego severely. It made me feel like this was actually worthwhile. If these individuals were able to part ways with their hard-earned money for my unrealized project, then I can do no wrong. All I had to do was ask. So I asked, "Hey Alex, do you know any black actresses?" "Yes, actually, meet Lucilia." "Hi Lucilia, are you interested?" "Yes."
So it all comes together.
I asked Molly, "Hey Molly, do you know any sound engineers?" "Yes, meet Tromel." "Tromel, are you interested?" "Yeah, and guess what? I've got my own equipment." Around this time, I united a group of writers to help me develop future projects after this one. One of the writers was a comedy writer called Daniel McLaughlin, who agreed to help me fine-tune the dialogue in The Painted Goddess. He took the script, rewrote a couple of the lines, and made some of the lines sound a bit more funnier or more human when the actors read them. And the best part was that he actually, added some comedy to the whole stiff writing and made the cheesiness go away. So thanks to Daniel's addition, I found where the story was weakest and did a final rewrite to trim out what needed to go. At this point, we're at the 9th draft, and poetically, our 10th draft was the last. But that's not to say the story didn't have its flaws. I had to cram a lot into 3 locations, and it wasn't going to be easy. And I didn't really have much time, so I butchered a lot of things. We were not able to get much insight into the main character's motivations and backstory. The pacing was also rushed in places, but that's short film headache. Revisit the cinematography. Was I really sure I wanted to do this by myself? Leon helped me understand just how much work I'll be taking on if I did a cinematography by myself on my very first project. So I decided I was going to go out and search once again for a cinematographer. I combed through the comments on all my previous posts and found that someone mentioned that they were happy to do their own videography. Cue Brandon. So I scheduled a video call with Brandon and spoke to him about what I was working on and what I needed. He had his own videography kit, microphone kit, and an interest in helping as well. So with only a week to go, everyone was now ready. The crew was finally assembled.
We are ready.
Let's talk about the trickiest part, location. Well, I didn't know where to start when it came to that because I was still green, I was still new in the UK. And when I started down this path, I used to live in Northampton. Then I relocated to London 1 month before production.
I got an idea.
Oh yeah, I could use Google Maps, so that's exactly what I did.
I am too smart. I am too smart. I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
There were 3 main locations to account for. 1, a cliffside or a seaside, or a cinematic abandoned location that looks like a place where one can summon a spirit. 2, an isolated path, possibly in a foresty area. And 3, the house that the artist lives in. And I also needed to sort out accommodation for those who are coming from far.
Oh, what a headache.
The goal is that if we found the abandoned building or the mystical looking location, we'll book our Airbnb around that area. Leon suggested the stone circles in the UK could be a good place for summoning things. How lucky, man, how lucky. I was so lucky to have this man on the team. Well, we located 3 stone circles in different parts of the UK that we could travel to. And we actually considered traveling out of town to the southwest. So we considered, getting a minibus. But thankfully, London has a stone circle of its own in Lewisham. So we just needed to find an Airbnb to go with that. This is what led me to register an Airbnb for the first time. We're dangerously close to the shooting date without a booked location for accommodation. So what do? You guessed right, I called on Leon again.
I need your help.
So I sent him the money and he booked the Airbnb on his app. Fortunately, his wasn't cancelled and we got a really awesome space. It was this small-ish 3-bedroom trailer located on a horse farm. Well, it was a stable with a farm attached. Actually, it was just a stable without a farm, but it felt like a stable with a farm attached. I can't explain it. Let's just move on. I'm not going to bore you too much. I'm going to end this one here because there's a whole lot to discuss when the production begins. So, in conclusion, we actually pulled it off. Pre-production for my first short film was finally coming to an end, and what a journey it was. On the 5th of November, I finally made it to the farm to meet the whole team. And did I tell you I was an introvert? I was a serious introvert back then. I mean, I still am now, but then back then I was sickly introverted. Like, my introversion kicked into like 2000% as soon as I got to the entrance. Because this was the first time I was meeting everyone in the flesh for the first time. I said first time twice. Let's go with it. So yeah, I'll leave you with this video that shows everyone that showed up on day 1, or this was probably day 2. This was day 2. But then that's me making the video. There's Liam, there's Nathan in yellow, Alex beside Nathan, Brandon is the one holding the camera, James is seated beside him, Tramel is wearing white, Molly is doing the makeup for Celia, and finally Leon is in the center of the room because he was the center of all of this. Looking back, this pre-production journey was full of invaluable learning experiences for a first-time filmmaker. Though the path was long and full of uncertainty, each step brought me closer to actually pulling this off. I gained first-hand experience pitching ideas, assembling a team, handling logistics, and navigating a bunch of setbacks. But most importantly, I learned that persistence and optimism are key. Each stumble provided me with an opportunity to tweak my approach. I can't wait. Well, I can, because the production was quite shady. Well, not shady, just difficult. But then I can't wait, nonetheless, to share the next chapter of this roller coaster with you. For now, it's time to call
Action!